Alright everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Nice Science. Let's get this video started. Today I thought I'd talk about my favorite fashion lenses essentially. And also basically ask you guys for some fashion advice. You know, kind of what are you guys' favorite sets of fashion, including, layered lances and layered armor. Also gun lances as well. Remember, I'm getting the gun lance recently. Before I get let me mention a few things. If it is obvious, I like black and I like purple. From general channel aesthetics, that should have been obvious. I also like glowy bits. And, well, the first lens I want to talk about, you can already see it. I mean, come on, from what I just said, this one should have been obvious. It's black, it's purple, it glows. It's everything I could like. The Gormagala lens, right? This thing is sick. I love it. I'm a big fan. I also like how it kind of looks like a war banner, like I should stab this thing in the ground. It's like a declaration of war. Big fan of that sort of aesthetic as well. But yeah, I mean, there isn't really too much to say about it in that, right? It's kind of got all my favorite things packed into it right from the start, so yeah, shouldn't be surprised that pretty much all the Gormagala weapons, I love them a lot. The Shagara Magala weapons, not so much, right? Not as big of a fan. Honestly, like the general like skull design, I'm not typically that big of a fan of, but I do like, the color palette enough that it more than makes up for it for me. And so, let's talk about the next weapon next. Let's see. I think next, let's talk about, where is it? There it is. Yeah. Ooh, I think everybody likes this lance in terms of like new lances in Rise. The Malzeno lance, man, this thing is sick. I love it. It's got that really nice blend of sort of like royalty design with gothic design. Also, it's got the glowing lines going up the lance. Oof. So good, man. It's so good. I don't really have any good armor sets to go with it, but I'm working on that. But yeah, I love this lance. Ever since I first saw it, I was like, in fact, I used the Malzeno lance for a while I was going through Sunbreak, just because I like the design so much. Such a good design lance. I feel like it does a really good job of. I also really like how it looks when it sheaves. I really like that, the way it sort of like spins back into itself. Big fan of it all around. Just pretty much everything about this lance I like. There isn't really anything to dislike about it for me. Just great overall. And, sort of a similar vein, the Luna. This lance is also great, the Lunagron lance. Like I said, my favorite thing about this one, ignoring the fact that, overall, for one, it's just like a sick design, right? Sick design, sort of spiral sort of design, looks really good. Glows. But I love the way it kind of gets like chained up when it's sheathed, right? Like it's so, it's so dangerous it has to be sealed away if someone isn't actively using it, right? I really love that. It's a nice little bit of flavor added to the lance. It's just that one little bit of just spice. It just makes it so good, right? And also the glowing bit is, well, like I said, I like glowy bits, so I'm sort of predisposed to liking it already. Oops, wrong thing. And next, let's talk about it might surprise you a bit. Where is it? Ah, here it is. Or I guess maybe not. Ooh. Now the regular Basil Goose lance, not that big of a fan of, but the seizing Basil Goose, ooh, that purple tip. Also, it does definitely have a sort of very like functional design to it almost, right? It's just a plain cylinder with a tip at the end. It glows. It's got just a nice simple round shield. It's very simple, very basic, but I think it actually works really well. It's like, it's very efficient. And it's also got that sort of like castle design, sort of rook design that kind of does go with Basil Goose pretty well. It's nice around, but definitely the glowing tip is definitely what pushes it up there for me. Big fan of this weapon. Really love it a lot. I guess, and before we get to the last weapon, which I'm pretty sure you've already guessed what it is, we'll talk about a few I guess honorable mentions. The Mizusune lance I like because they jingle. They got a nice little jingle to them whenever you swing them around. Big fan of Mizusune weapons for that. Also, the Rajang lances in general, they're just really cool designs. They're like not my favorite, but I do like the sort of tribal designs. And I'll display this one almost looks like a sort of like shield of fur on the outside, like especially. Rajang lance is pretty sick. And what else? Ooh, I do like this one quite a bit. The Magnum lances are also quite nice as well, but mostly because it feels like it looks more like a great sword than a lance, right? It feels like I'm like stabbing with a great sword rather than using a lance, right? You know, they're kind of nice for that. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I guess they do have some like really nice patterns in that glow, and I also like quite a bit. But it's just not quite there for me. Not to be like in my top 5, right? Maybe my top 10, but not my top 5. And obviously, let's get past the armor mission. Obviously, I think everyone likes this lance, man. This lance is too good. It glows. It's got a really sick design. It's also really, really strong. So, you know, even if you're not using layered weapons, like the actual lance itself is phenomenal. Just a great lance. The Valstrax lance. Just great in general. Really love the glow. Really love the design. I think you all saw this one coming, right? That's why I left it for last. I left it for last because I feel like this one was too obvious, too easy, right? And again, I guess we'll go and wrap this up. What do you guys like favorite lance weapons and your armor sets that you put with them? I'm also really curious about that. And don't forget again the gun lances. Want to see those as well. What are you guys' favorite fashion? Maybe, and if you have like some fashion for other weapons you also really like, feel free to share this to me. I kind of play a little bit of everything, so I'm always, you know, open for fashion suggestions. Obviously, fashion in Monster Hunter games are super important, right? How can you hunt if you don't look good? Fashion's way too important to ignore. And so yeah, we'll go ahead and wrap this video up here, guys. I hope I'll catch you guys in the next one. Till then, take it easy and have a good one, everybody.